Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to part 29 of our journey through a Weedwife's remedy. I'm thinking this is not a good time for people. But let me know. The only other day I can do it is on Fridays. At our normal 3 p.m. or what was our normal 3 p.m. time. I feel like that worked. That might work best for people. I don't know how it works for me, but I'm off. So I think that yeah. I don't know if this works for everybody because I haven't had too many people at all. And there were more people that seemed to be able to make it at the 3 p.m. time. So and it works better when there's people like that instead of me just talking to myself. So we can have a discussion and stuff, and we've had some really, really awesome discussions, I feel like, in this book club. And I'd love to keep that going. My little light. So yeah. Remove that light to do that. All right. That's very uncomfortable. Haha. So we're on page 137. If anyone has the book, and it's LakeBottom Luminescence of Pond Lilies, Patterns, and the Divergent Mind. So we're sort of not talking about a specific plant this week, but we're still talking about herbalism. So yeah. And also I had to switch book club to if anyone is not in the Facebook group, we're switching it to twice a month. So it's going to be the second and fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. unless I switch it to Fridays. And that may be happening, but still the second and the fourth. Just because of my full-time job, that it just, I need some more time just to wiggle. The job takes a lot of energy. I was previously working less, and then I was out of work for a while, so I was able to do it more, but I don't want to stop. So all right, so I'm going to ask our first discussion question and just think about it. It'll be before we sort of get to it in the book. So this is a question of how do you practice herbalism? Like, everyone sort of does it sort of differently. How do you feel like you personally, maybe it's very open, so it might be too open, but and then what kind of herbalist are you? So are you a community herbalist? You go out and then you help the community. Are you a clinical herbalist? You see people in an office. Do you make medicine? Do you make salves and tinctures and stuff, and you sell them either way? Do you do wildcraft, etc.? Are you a kitchen herbalist? But there's many different ways. So those are the two first questions, and really they're the same question pretty much. All right. So I'm going to start with this quote by Catherway Ann Valente, which I butchered her first name. So, a farmer wants his son to be afraid of beautiful women. so that he will not leave home too soon. So it tells a story about how one drowned his brother's cousin's friend in a lake, not because he was a pig who deserved to be drowned, but because beautiful women are bad and also witches. And it doesn't matter that she didn't ask to be beautiful, or to be born in a lake, or to be born in a lake, or to live forever, or not to know how men breathe until they stop doing it. Fixated by moving water as a child, I would watch the waves of the Atlantic beat against the bleached wood of my grandfather's boat dock as a storm rolled in. Shrouded remains of plant life would roll in the foam, braids of fraying seaweed, glossy black sea pods, tangles of mangrove roots, all emerging only to be submerged into frothy darkness yet again. More than once I wrapped my legs around a post to lower myself, face and fingers first into the darkness, reaching into the sea to grasp some barely visible flower bobbing on the surface, clutching it just in time before it disappeared once more. So many years later, I still find myself fording flooded rivers just to reach some coveted vine, creeping up a cliff face, or diving into mountain lakes to bring back a handful of pond lily rhizomes, still fragrant from dark, sweet mud. In my life, it seems that I have always been reaching into dark water, grasping for those disappearing petals, being pulled under even as I touch them. My own mind is not so dissimilar, where everything is fragments of information and images and feelings spinning and submerging and re-emerging until the pieces fit together in the shape of whatever they are meant to be. Being autistic and a pattern-based thinker, I don't conceive my thoughts in words at all. Instead, I'm forever searching for the invisible and visible currents, images emerging from the darkness, reaching out to nudge a sensation or memory into place until I see where they are leading me, what they might tell me about the person I am speaking to, or the shape of the flower in my hands. So she's autistic, but people who are not artistic are different kind of learners. So some people are more like a visual learner. Some people are more like, they can listen and then, that's how they learn. Some people are more book learners, where they just pick up things that they read and they remember it. Like my mom had a hard time in school because she had a hard time staying still. So she's probably better doing more things like physically, like she would benefit more from like wild crafting instead of going out and if she was an herbalist, touching the plants and learning about it, than just reading about them in a classroom. She would probably do better. I tend to be, I feel like I'm both, but I definitely also, a lot of times I can't, I have a hard time with math because it's sort of like the pieces keep moving, where I have to see a visual representation. That's why I was always better with geometry, because there was this visual up there, and sort of algebra works very abstract. So so this thing about how do you learn, how do you see the world, it definitely differs. How do we interpret the things we see? Different from person to person. Perhaps because of this difficulty with verbal thought, words sometimes have a more profound effect on me than on those more comfortable with them. I'm also pretty verbal, so I don't know, just struggle with written, as you obviously can tell, because I'm just blah 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 blah. Pushing past my lips and into the open air, ordinary sentences can sound like a spell I never meant to cast or a secret I should have kept. Struggling as I do with auditory-based communication, I have learned more and more to be silent when treating people, especially during assessment. Brief questions and intense listening with note-taking allows me to utilize my specialized brain to the best of its abilities without the distraction of chatter or casual conversation. So probably somebody else would you know, would do better with the casual conversation. Like they would, you know, so we all like do things differently. Sorry, here's something that's really long. So without the distraction of casual chatter or conversation, I'm more likely to be able to find the patterns of dis-ease in my clients, and also able to have clarity as to what herbs are best suited to their constitution, situation, and context. Well, this is not exactly the clinical model I originally thought I should follow as a healer. I see that herbalism holds a capacity for a great deal of diversity in how we each practice and teach. So that leads me to the discussion questions that I mentioned earlier. How do you practice herbalism? What kind of herbalist are you? So it's nice because like herbs are the way that herbs function best is if it's not a one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter approach. I think more Western medicine is more like that. Herbalism is more, you know, individualized, and also the way it is practiced too. So each herbalist is different, and you know, when they're just as different as you know, the way that people take herbs and you know, are different, which is really cool. The herbalist I interviewed last time for my stories for the earth from the earth interviews, which if you don't know about them, there's a playlist on my channel. So Jamie Sparks, she does massage. She does herbalism, but she can also she does massage. So you could do both in her practice with her. If you wanted to add in some sort of a little more physical aspect to like healing. But some herbalists just do herbs. Some, you know, so yeah, so that's a brief example. We're at the bottom of page 138. What I bring to the table as an herbalist was not simply my experience and skill, but my affinity for the other, for the less heard and rarely seen. So this brings us to our next question. I had a lot of good questions and nobody's here. It's okay. It's all right. So I think I'm definitely moving book club. So what do you bring to the table? What are your herbal strengths? Which may be also the same question as what kind of herbalist are you, but what do you think you're good at? Like some people are like really good at tincture making, some people are really good at salve making, some people are like, you know, like, or are you really good at talking to people as a consultation? Are you just really good at like, you know, making formulas for people? Like, what are you good at? What do you feel like is your strength? And yeah, so I'm fluent in the silent language of the submerged pond lily. Roots and wind-blown puffball spores, even while I struggle with conventional social graces among my own species. In the past, I spent a great deal of time frustrated in attempting to fight through my awkwardness. always thinking if I tried hard enough, I could force myself into a dynamic where I could at least pretend to be normal. Inevitably, though, I found myself going nonverbal in the midst of a conversation from too much stress or having an emotional meltdown under the present pressure of trying to wear a mask of normality. I've learned the hard way that while I am technically capable of working as an... Hold on. Hold on one second. There's just one thing I need to do. Okay. And then we'll take a pause. And I will be right back. Okay. I put a post on Facebook. Maybe that'll help people remember that we are live. I'm probably just going to go a few minutes more. Probably going to be the shortest book club in history. I've learned the hard way that while I'm technically capable of working as an office-based clinician, everything in me rebels at the idea of regular hours, being trapped in a small room, and being expected to interact with cookie-cutter medical mold. I'm grateful for the many transformations of my practice has taken over the last 16 years, but I'm also grateful for having finally learned what I am and what I am not. So that's really important, and it's nice that, again, it's good to admit to yourself and figure out, what kind of environment you do well in. I need some structure, but I don't do really good under rigid circumstances. So, because I'm like, yo! How does herbalism encourage us to be ourselves? So that is the next question. I think it's sort of inherent in the way that herbalism functions. It's so individualized that you kind of have to delve into what is you. Who are you? What are you? How do you best function? And I think that could help us step out into other aspects of our lives. This is from Dark Waters, Speaking with the Other Than Human World. This is a quote from Dale Pendell. As dreams are the healing songs from the wildness of our unconscious, so wild animals, wild plants, wild landscapes are the healing dreams from the deep singing mind of the earth. That's a really great quote. We're at the bottom of 139. Anyone who has the book. So I'm just going to go about 10 more minutes. In fairy tales, runaway girls and lost boys wander the wide world to speak with silkies and tree people, are sheltered by the blue-skinned hags and goatmen, and are told secrets that save their lives by glowing flowers and poisonous toadstools. In the stories of the not-so-distant past, we were not so separate from the natural world, and the pressures of trauma and danger drove us more quickly to that liminal place where our language and theirs overlaps and merges into something ancient, necessary, and still wild. In the beginning, I simply wanted to be an herbalist, even though I did not yet understand what that meant in modern-day America, or even to me personally. What I did know was that in my imaginings, it was already implied that a healer who works with the green world, who acts as a bridge between one species and the next, would not necessarily be a normal person. My understanding of healers of many cultures was that sometimes what is commonly termed mental illness, whether inborn or trauma-induced, could actually be of benefit when mending the wounds of others. My dreams were populated with the ominous yet wise visage of Russia's fierce hag Baba Yaga, as much as the graceful silhouette of Ireland's healing goddess Bridget. I was looking for what I saw as a lost archetype of fierceness and otherness wrapped up in a deep experiential relationship with place and others other than human species, for a way of contributing to the healing health of humans while staying rooted in the wildness of the land and plants. I'm going to stop there. So, hello, person that has joined me through this. I am most happy to have you. And it's totally fine. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you enjoyed what I have read. Yeah, this is, I don't know whether it's because I've had such a non-consistency of book club. I don't know. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been tough to work. All right. Well, we may be switching it up. So yeah. Although unfortunately I can't do it Friday of next. I mean, the next Friday is when we're, yeah. So maybe our next scheduled Friday, but I can't do it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work it out. We will work out something. All right. Until next time. If you would like to join the book club, you will know I will put up a notification of when we're having book club, and hopefully we can work out this schedule so that more people can participate. Yeah, so we'll pick up with the rest of this chapter next time, and I hope everyone has a good week. Okay, bye.